Hi, greetings from beautiful Long Beach, California. My name is Bernie Pearl and you are listening to Blues by the Beach. Today we're going to do National Blues Part 2. Usually I tune in G tuning, which I used last week. This time I tuned it to D tuning so I could do a different set of blues. And on my right is Michael Barry, been playing bass with me for about 35 years. Eventually he'll get it. I got to give the boy some time. So we're pleased to be here. I want to start off with a classic blues from the Mississippi Delta by Son House. This is Son House, Eddie House Jr., one of the remarkable finds when people started looking for traditional bluesmen who really had stopped playing around World War II, who had recorded in the 30s and early 40s. They went to look for Son House and they found him, although he's from the Mississippi Delta and a contemporary of the great Charlie Patton. He comes from that tradition. They found him living in upstate New York, I believe in Buffalo or Rochester, I'm not sure which. You can look it up on, you can Google it. And he was living with his daughter and he had not played for many years. So they got him a guitar and he didn't remember his songs. And I believe that the story goes that Alan Wilson, the guitarist and harmonica player from Canned Heat, sat with Son and showed him how he used to play. Well, he gathered himself and was a sensational member of that cast of people who had been found. Son House, Booker White, Sleepy John Estes had been found living and able to play. A magnificent singer. He is the epitome of the conflict between church and the blues. He went from one to the other. He was a child preacher, and then he went to the blues, and he spent some time in penitentiary, and still did very powerful religious songs. This is a song from that lineage of Delta blues about horses. So this one is the Shetland Pony Blues. Charlie Patton did the Stone Pony, and there are all kinds of pony blues. But this is the Son House, my version of the Son House version. And Michael, I have been waiting for several years to do this. You were there when we played the University of Mississippi, that lunchtime concert.
Absolutely.
And the man who was manager of several of the artists, including Son House, Dick Waterman, well-known photographer and blues raconteur, saw me with my National Steel, and he saw me reaching in my pocket to do this song, and he said, well, that's not how Son House used to carry his slide. I said, well, how did he do that? Well, he used to put it in his shirt pocket. I said, I can't do that, I'm my own roadie. Today is the day. I've never done this before.
Yay.
Hey, how do you like that? Why don't you catch me a pony and saddle up my black mare? I said, now catch me a pony, saddle up my black mare. I'm gonna find my baby, she's out in this world somewhere. Well, he's a running horse, I declare he's too black bad. Now he's a running pony, I declare he's too black bad. Well, he got him a gate no Shetland ever had. I feed him sweets, let him by my side. I feed him sweets, I let him by my side. Well, the pretty girl said, Mister, please, sir, may I ride? Well, taking his reins, led him round and round. Take him by his reins, and I led him round and round. He ain't the best in the world, but he's best in this old town. I said, now, come up here, pony, come on, let's us go. Come up here, horse, come on and let's us go. Come on, let's recite to the Gulf of Mexico. Well, he's a running horse, he don't deny his name. He's a running pony, he don't deny his name. Well, the way he traveled just a low down dirty shame. He got him 4 stocking feet, a great long curly mane. He got him 4 stocking feet and a great long curly mane. He got a rocking motion like a high-speed passenger train. The horse I ride, he can foxtrot, lope, and pace. The pony that I ride can foxtrot, lope, and pace. Horse with that many gates, you know I'm bound to win this race. Sunhouse. Love that song. Next song I'm going to do comes from the repertoire of Blind Willie Johnson. He was, at least at the end of his life, he was a street preacher in Galveston, Texas. His passing was most tragic, and you can look that up. He was a brilliant and stunning vocalist and a stunning slide guitarist. One of those mentioned when you talk about who is the best that ever lived. Blind Willie Johnson comes up. In fact, his Dark Was the Night was sent up into outer space by NASA as representing American music. There's only one photo of him. Actually, there's 2 back here. They're very hard to see, but I wanted to show you anyway. A little picture of Blind Willie on this Yazoo. He was not an old man, and he used to sing with his wife, and it was absolutely exquisite music. The song that I'm going to do, I usually do a month from now, around the 14th day of April, which is the anniversary of the sinking of the Titanic. We're a little bit early, but I very seldom get into this D tuning. I stay in G most of the time, so I want to take this opportunity to do this song. The Titanic is God Moves on the Water, and if you want to sing with me on the chorus, God Move on the Water. God Move on the Water is the chorus, and you'll hear it. Titanic sinking had a great religious meaning to poor people, and some of the verses have to do with poverty, but not in this particular song. But it always has something to do with the arrogance of man building things and the Lord disposing. I had a professor in college who used to say, man proposes and God disposes. It's like this. On the 14th day of April, year of 1912, Titanic struck the iceberg, almost too sad to tell. God moved on the water, God moved. God moved on the water, Lord. The people let it run and pray. Captain, he was laying down because he was tired. Woke up in a great fright. Many gunshots were fired. God moved on the water. God moved. God moved. The people let it run and pray. Captain, he gave orders. Women and children first. Many lifeboats piled up. Many lives were lost. God moved on the water. God moved. God moved. Lord, the people let it run and pray. Titanic was sinking. Lifeboats all around. Saved the women and children, even let the men go down. God moved. God moved. God moved. For the people that running. Lifeboats got to the landing. The women, they looked around, looked out on that great ocean. Had to see their men go down. God moved. God moved. God moved. For the people that run and pray. John Jacob Astor was a millionaire, had plenty money to spare, but when Titanic struck the iceberg, Lord, he could not pay his fare. God moved. God moved. God moved. For the people had run and pray. A.G. Smith was a mighty man. He built him a boat he could not understand. He named a mighty name, made it sail, and then my Lord moved it with his hand. God moved. God moved. God moved on water, Lord. People that run and pray. God moved. God moved. God moved on the water, Lord. The people had to run and pray. Lord have mercy. All right. Well, Fred McDowell, Mississippi Fred McDowell, he was called. Although he says, I'm calling Mississippi Fred McDowell, but I'm from Rossville, Tennessee. Probably 20 miles across the board or something like that. Here's a picture, a dramatic picture of Mississippi Fred. So I bring it up to the camera a little better? All right, let's do that. He in his later years, he used to wear that little, what do you call that? It was not a serape, but he wore this little Mexican jacket. I guess he went to Mexico, and he liked that. It was a something he enjoyed very much. This is an album on Bounty label, Blues and Spiritual by Fred and Annie Mae McDowell. That was his wife at the time. I remember one time he came out and I said, "How's your wife?" And he said, "Well, I quit her. I got somebody else. I think he said, she got too churchy." They did nonetheless wonderful spirituals together, and with the Hunter's Chapel Singers from Como, Mississippi, in Como, Mississippi. There they are. And this is marvelous religious music that Fred did. However, I want to do actually two things that I learned from his playing. One of them, well, the connection is several years ago I was hired to be the guitarist by a Native American theater company called Native Voices at the Autry. The Autry Museum is right next to the Wells Fargo Theater where the company did their plays. and they're called Native Voices at the Altar. They are still an ongoing concern. And I was hired mainly to play incidental music during a play called Berlin Blues. Now this was a play written by, a series of plays actually, 3, with blues in the title, written by an Ojibwe or Chippewa from Canada playwright. And it had nothing to do with the blues per se, but it had to do with exploitation on an Indian reservation, exploitation of the culture and so forth. And my job was mainly to play incidental music while the play went on. And it was blues and so forth. They had used recorded music before that, and the director finally said, I want to have some live music. So I did it. It was a wonderful experience. So I had one piece that I had to compose, and that was an overture as people came in. That's a grand name for a little ragtime piece that I made up called the Berlin Rag. Another time I was asked to play a complete song was during the intermission, or to end the intermission. It was a two-act play. The first act would end and people would walk across the plaza to this little restaurant which served buffalo burgers and whatnot, and also served wine. So they had to figure out some way to get the people out of the restaurant to come back into the theater. So they used to run, I don't know what effect it had, but they used to run around saying, Bernie Pearl is going to play the blues now. So I was directed to play a song that would help bring people back in. And this is the song. It's a Fred McDowell song. I'm going way down south. I believe I'll carry my hook. Lord, I'm going way down south. I believe I'll carry my hook. I don't find my baby. I declare I got to book. Going down by the river, I'll sit down on the ground. I'm going down by the river, people. Sit down on the ground. Let the waves in the water wash my trouble down. Was a diving duck. If the river was whiskey, I was a diving duck. I dive straight to the bottom, never come back up. This morning, laying down on my floor, my hand. Mean old fireman and that cruel engineer. I say that mean old fireman and that cruel engineer. Take away my baby, take her far from here. By the river, gonna carry my rocking chair. I'm going down by the river, carry my red rocking chair. Blues overtake, I'm gonna rock all the way from here. And then the audience would come back in and they settle down and we get on with the second act. I want to do one more tune that originated with Fred McDowell. It's in his style. It probably is an older song than that. This one is titled Amazing Grace. Certainly the most famous thing. He did not write it or introduce it to the world, but he certainly had his own version of it. And I'm waiting for one of these days, when they call that song, I'm going to play the backup for the way Fred McDowell played it. Very different than people sing it nowadays. At any rate, he also did a song called You Got to Move. Ry Cooder learned it and taught it to the Rolling Stones, and they did a version of it, and most everybody derives their version from the Rolling Stones. I go back to Fred McDowell. Very simple. And real instance, real example of less is more. You gotta move, you gotta move, you gotta move, you gotta move. While when the Lord get ready, you gotta move. You may be high, you may be low. You may be rich, child, you may be poor, but when the Lord gets ready, you gotta move. You see that woman who walks the street, see a policeman out on his beat. When the Lord get ready. You gotta move. You may be late and cannot walk. You may be dumb and cannot talk. But when the Lord get ready, you gotta move. You may be a star and have your fame. Might be someone nobody knows your name. But when the Lord get ready, you gotta move. 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 But when the Lord get ready, you gotta move. Thank you, Michael Berry. It was indeed a pleasure. Thank you, Dr. Anna Pearl, for doing our technical services. And thank you very much for watching this edition of Blues by the Beach with Bernie Pearl. And I hope you join me again next time.